Hi everyone. I'm excited to have Queer Church today. Um, we're a lot to talk about. Today actually is the start of Gemini season, so we are in our heads. It is a head realm, mental realm led time, and I'll talk about that later. But I also wanted to just mention here that it's AAPI month, and I'm just coming off of, as many of you know, a month in Asia and spending time with my family and feeling really rooted there. And I wanted to bring that a little bit into Queer Church today. So I'm going to read, our reading today is from Ritual. This is one of my favorites. If y'all have been with me, you've seen this before. It is Oakland created zine, AAPI created by Sayuri Kimball, and it's just full of healing. I feel like ancestor driven healing rituals and tinctures. But it begins with a mantra that I want to share with you all. And yeah, to get us to just drop in. Let this, if you've found this now or later, be just a moment, an offering, and an invitation to pause. Slow down, breathe for a moment. And this reading, as always, is an opportunity for you to just be read to. So let this mantra just kind of roll over your mind. Let it push out to-do lists. Let it calm and close any tabs. Even with Gemini working a 360 at its start today, let it focus that, or let that melt, or let it spin so much that it's just in the flow. And this is a ritual. Today I will be relaxed in my body and my mind. Today I will be relaxed in my body and my mind. I will be open to the potential of the universe and all that it has in store with me. I will remain supple to changes. I will practice non-judgment. And I want to, for this moment, if you will, maybe a touch here to the very top of your head or above. Let's send out some sparks. Let's send out some fireworks. Let's put out a call, an energetic call to our ancestors, chosen or bio, whether they're in this lineage or in the queer family lineage of protesters and activators and agitators and activists. Let's call out to the folks that have been through what we're going through and worse and are here to help us in this moment, not even to get to the next place, but just here right where we are. Let's go ahead and just send out some sparks. Send out maybe even a beam of light that says, I'm here. I accept your guidance. I accept that I don't know what's going on and the best way right now to move forward. And we call on our ancestors. And I'm going to read this one more time, and we'll just have that sent out and open this. Today, I will be relaxed in my body and my mind. I will be open to the potential of the universe, of our ancestors, of our guides, and all that it has in store for me. I will remain supple to changes. I will practice non-judgment. So be it. So I did want to talk just a little bit about ancestral lineage. I don't know your story exactly where you are, but if you are someone who's maybe doing something differently than your lineage, maybe that is being the first queer person out, maybe that is moving from home, maybe that is just opening communication or healing from trauma or having brave conversations with your family in ways that are being initiated and run by you. especially at this time. Excuse me. I know that my parents aren't with me in this many parts of this journey, and are trying in their best way. I don't know what you are, but where you're at. But when I talk about ancestor work, I think that it's important that we think about the ways that our ancestors are also helping our living relatives, that the ancestors that we're calling in, the ancestors that we're working with, the ones that are choosing us and that we're choosing them, they're helping us to do this work. They're also here for our family members. They're here for the folks that are still in the system, that are still closer to their experiences in childhood that I can't possibly understand. What does it mean to live with ease and grace and extend a little, and to see this work as the ripple out? So that's what I think of when I think of API month and when I'm thinking about connection to ancestors. And I hope that for all of you, ease. I hope that for all of you. And just want to say you're doing great. Thank you for the work you're doing. Thanks for being here. It's a tough time to be a human. It's a really tough time in our community. And how are you finding joy? How are you resourcing each other? And let's just also take a moment. Let's send a call out to return our energy to us. Sometimes when we are the catalyst, when we are doing this work, we're also leaving little pockets of energy with people we're having conversations with the anxiety in the moment, out and out and out, into the news, into the ether. And let's take a moment. We had from here, but this one will call from just below our rib cage. Go ahead and just take a moment and give yourself a little love in this area. If you want to hold it, if you want to rub it, just turn the energy, turn the light on right here underneath our rib cage. That is your space for self-connection, self-reliance. I am me. I've got this. I've been through it this lifetime and past lifetimes, and I came here for a reason. And I'm connecting to that reason why I dared do this to myself again, and who I am and why I'm here and why I'm doing this work in the world and in my community and in my family lines. And just breathe into that space. Take some nourishing breaths all the way, lighting up and expanding this area for yourself. This is you, doing you, holding you, having you with clarity of purpose. Just fill that up for a moment. Maybe flood this area with a color that really reminds you and connects for you, maybe to the mantra that we read, maybe to how you start your day. Ease, hold to it. And we'll just call in, we'll call back. I'm going to add a little sound in a moment. And as I add the sound, I invite you to imagine calling your energy back to you, bringing your energy and really holding it and restoring it in this area for you, for yourself, your energy belonging with you. And as you do that, as you create that pull, it also releases other people's energy. If other people's energy are holding somewhere in your psychic and energetic space and in your body, we release that back to them. Call back our energy, call all the strands of our energy we've sent to other places and other times. We bring it here and we release other people's energy. with that. Today, astrology update is about Gemini season, like I've mentioned, and I have to say my blanket party line, which is that Gemini gets a bad rap. Gemini gets, it's in popular culture. It's one of the things, it's like, it's great that people are talking about astrology so prevalently, and it also leads the way and path for so many stereotypes. And Geminis, I think, get it a lot. And I think that that happens because Gemini is the twin. Gemini is seeing the front and the back 360 perspective. In addition, Gemini is mortal and immortal. One of the twins is mortal, one of the twins immortal in Gemini. So they're both seeing what I would call the 3D and the 5D, right? The fifth dimension energy at the same time. And some of us, we're not here for that. We're not ready for that. We're going through, capitalism's keeping us where we are. Our charts are leading us to see the world as we are. And Geminis come around by the time they have decided something, said something, they've seen it. They've seen the way it's played out. They've seen why it's happening. They're not one of the signs that brings forward and wants everyone on the plan. They're not Virgos. They're not Aries. Aries isn't like that. They're not Virgo where it's like, okay, here's the plan. I want everyone to be a part of it. They're quietly deciding and quietly discovering. And then by the time something's happened, we do sometimes feel shocked. We are sometimes, where did that come from? And that is just a disconnection. And also, there's so much we can gain from Gemini perspective. And we all get a little bit of taste of that as today it started. So that's also why I'm doing a little extra energy work in Queer Church this week, a little extra calling out, because we are, as Gemini season starts today, all in this realm, in the mental realm, being able to see, to envision, to call out, and to connect even more so than usual. So I hope you enjoyed that and gave yourself a little moment and feel some of your energy restored to you. Gemini season is here for that. And we are leading to next week a new moon in Gemini. So like a release moment and a seed of spark. And that really is an important time to restart, to rethink, not just a little bit. Gemini doesn't have us just shift our gaze like, okay, I'm going this way. Actually, I'm going to make the plan this way. I'm a Capricorn rising, and it's not like, okay, here's the plan, but if I make this plan in a couple, months, I'll be able to get here. Gemini's like, I'm here, I see it. Actually, the world I want, the life I want, the reality I want is on the other side, and I'm just gonna portal hop to get there. And I don't know about y'all, but I need a portal hop. We need all the portal hops right now. We need new, fresh perspectives. And this really is an opportunity. So for the tarot reading to close us out today, what I'm going to do is pull a card for today, for the start of Gemini season. What do we need to know? What will help us for Gemini season? What do we need to know for this week, just to make it through? Here's the week, Queer Church of the week. And what do we need to prepare for the new moon in Gemini? Because that is coming up next Monday, and this is the week, to lead up. So go ahead and just send your energy this way. If you are feeling some flow and some connection from your guides and your ancestors, and they want to weigh in and send it this way, please do. What do we need to know for these scenarios to prepare ourselves and be as ready as we can to work with the energy of this week, with all that's cosmically aligned? This will be, what do we need for Gemini season? I'm going to show them all and then we'll talk about it. This is, what do we need to know for the week? And how do we prepare for the full moon, for the new moon? Sorry, I'm in a full moon mood. All right, so let's look at it. I also wanted to do this because I'm always sharing tarot spreads, and I've heard from some folks that they do the spread, but they're not quite sure how to put it together and need a little more guidance on like how that weaving works. So I wanted to bring this as an offering in addition. So here we are. This is swords. So we're in Gemini season. I'm asking, what do we need for Gemini season? And here we're in the realm of head. Swords is air. Gemini is air. But this card, this is a really funny one. I'm using melanated tarot here so that we get the Smith drawings, but get melanated figures, as you'll see kind of here. And this card, it looks kind of spooky. It's literally a tomb. There's the swords hanging them, and this is why I think the sword suit is so funny. You don't get this and be like, relaxation, chill vibes. But it is essentially the Four of Swords is a card of rest. It reminds us of the importance of not just like one good night's sleep, but the kind of memorial sleep of the eternal rest. As creepy as this, kind of vibe is, it is a great reminder. And this, because it's in the realm here, mental rest. How can we use Gemini season and our power of 360 perspective that we're all getting into our charts this season to rest, to inventory? What am I actually holding? What am I holding in the front, in the back, in the sides, in the past, in the future, worries for the future, that I can rest, that I can let go, because I can see not only that it's nothing I can do about it, but also that the things I'm holding and storing in my mind are not serving. For the week, here we are. We still live in, 3D time. We got to make it through the week. This is the Six of Pentacles. Pentacles is earth. Pentacles is body. It's also money and the things we can touch and hold. And this is a card we asked about, kind of the 3D this week. What do we need? Waking up, going to work. And this is a card of generosity. This card says, I have enough. There is balance and there's more to give. When I have, I can give, and that giving feels good and returns. So where in your week, maybe do a little inventory this week, or just hold this as a consideration for the week. Where can you give a little bit? And especially give a little bit of grounding. This doesn't mean, you need to go out and spend your money, but what do you have that's in abundance that you can share? And maybe in that sharing, you'll either unburden yourself, or perhaps something else may also return. And then this week is also, especially I would say the end of the week, the new moon is on Monday. And so we'll really feel it over the weekend, especially Saturday. Judgment card. So this card, this is one of the things I love, like tarot and like the Bible have these are the same themes, and people think of these things as like so completely different. And as someone who is raised Catholic and like is becoming a chaplain and is a tarot witch for astrology and tarot, I feel like it's so fun when my worlds combined. It's also just like a mixed kid thing too. So Judgment, anyway, that was a long story. Judgment, my major card, major moon. This new moon that's coming up is big. Out of all the cards, this is the major one. So that's also something that I know. And this is literally like the angel Gabriel at the end of your life, calling forth the souls from the graves to look back. And it is a little bit about judgment, like for ourselves. In what ways can this Gemini new moon reveal the ways we're judging ourselves or others, in ways that is not serving us, in ways that is creating barriers where there don't need to be, and weight that we don't need to carry? And in what ways this is also about, like I said, the end of your life. What is it, if you're wrestling with something, if you're worried or wondering about something, this card asks you to zoom into the future, to look back and have some perspective, to say, well, is this going to be a big deal at the end of my life? When I look back at my life, which Sidebar, we don't know when that's going to be. But when I look back on my life and I think about this with that type of perspective, how am I going to feel about this relationship, this job, this opportunity, this worry, this person, this self? Like, how am I going to feel about this? And so this is encouraging us as we prepare for that new moon and that perspective for Gemini to actually release us from some of the mental torture that we go through for ourselves sometimes. How can you think about ways you're judging yourself, ways that you're judging your life, and maybe standards that you're holding that are not serving you, that maybe you can shift and release when the new moon comes. That is the offering. That is the Queer Church this week. I hope y'all, some of this, whatever resonated, let it fill your spirit and your body and your energy, and whatever didn't land for you, just let it melt away. Thanks for spending a little time with me, and I will see y'all for the new moon next week. Oh, and if you're in the Bay Area, I am doing a workshop on queer spirituality and joy for the Berkeley Pacific Center on Thursday. I'll be sharing about it, but if you want to do some of this, but in person, in real life, come find me on Thursday at the Mental Health at the Intersections conference.